Welcome to RV Woodworks. My name is Rahim, and I consider myself a hybrid woodworker. What do I mean by that? Well, I appreciate mortise and tenon joinery, or I appreciate my hand planes. I even appreciate my doweling jigs, but I appreciate my pocket screws, and I appreciate my planers, and I don't mind using just a screw to hold something together. I say that because I'm conflicted at times. During my day job, my role is to find efficiencies and to find ways of reducing wastage. Well, if I look at the enjoyment that I get from traditional woodworking, it's definitely there. But deep down inside, I also want to find efficiencies. And this deep, dark secret that I have is that for the last couple of months, I have been working hard trying to figure out how I can show you guys how I'm taking my woodworking to the next level. In comes our brand new CNC. This is a Onefinity Woodworker 35 with a stiffy bar. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I mounted this vertically on the wall. It is a fantastic tool. And my goal is not to convert my woodworking completely into CNC, but it is to find efficiencies and find methods of doing joineries or other things that can help me save time so I can produce more content for you. At any rate, that's enough talking. Let's roll that intro and let's get right into it. Alright guys, now I'm fortunate enough to live driving distance from the OneCNC headquarters in Canada, but you can order this from anywhere around the world. You'll just need to pay for shipping. If you are close by though, call them and they will give you a promo code that will discount the shipping cost during checkout, and their customer service will contact you when your order is ready for pickup. Now when I arrived, I went straight to the shipping area and I got to see some beautiful machines set up, and the warehouse was full of toys I drooled over. And these gentlemen were nice enough to help load the boxes in my car, and one even asked for my YouTube channel. I hope he subscribed. Needless to say, I drove straight home and started unboxing immediately. As I was unboxing the quick change wasteboard, which by the way was really well packaged, I pondered how I would explain to you why I've decided to go this route in my woodworking journey. Many say that CNC isn't real woodworking, and I was one of those. But then a friend let me try his out, and I just had to have one. First of all, this craft, woodworking, has been around for hundreds of thousands of years. And I'm not here to give you a history lesson, but the satisfaction of building something with your own hands with raw materials that becomes a functional piece of furniture in your house has its own charm. You just can't understand it until you've experienced it yourself. Maybe it's like giving birth. I don't claim that I understand the struggles, but if you ask my wife, she'll tell you it's the hardest thing she's ever done, yet it is also the most rewarding. Did I just compare woodworking with giving birth? Boy, I'm going to get it for that one. At any rate, there are other reasons, but before I get to that, it's worth mentioning again that the box was really well packaged and all the screws and templates were really well labeled to ensure the assembly goes without hiccup. It even comes with oops clamps, and I'll show you those and explain what they are in a bit. As I start the assembly by adding the 16 screws to build the frame, it's worth mentioning that as you add the screws, the wasteboard really squares itself up. Once you have the wasteboard assembled, you need to provide your own MDF, but the templates alongside the instructions are really clear. After confirming the first board fit, I cut the rest using my table saw. Back to the reasons why people dislike CNCs. Probably the most obvious is the cost of entry. Can I dare compare it with a domino joiner? Well, hold that thought for a minute and let's talk about this wasteboard. The template makes drilling the required holes really easy. As all you need a 1/2 inch Forstner bit, a 16-inch drill bit, a 1/4 inch drill bit, a hammer, a drill, and blue tape. All you need to do is mark or punch the holes using the template and use the 1/2 inch Forstner bit to drill 3/8 inch holes from the top of the wasteboard, followed by the 16th inch drill bit to punch the through holes. Once you have this done, it's as simple as flipping the board over and using the 1/2-inch drill bit to drill the holes for the screws that will secure the MDF to the wasteboard. Now as I get the wasteboards ready, let's go back to that domino joiner discussion. Like many others, I haven't been able to justify the cost of a tool that just does one thing. Even though it does it really well, I just don't do enough woodworking to justify it. But what if it was cheaper? It's all about ROI, right? If it was cheaper, could I justify the cost? I think I'll be the first one in line to buy it. Now, a CNC doesn't just do one thing, it does many different things. But I wasn't able to justify the cost till I found it on Facebook Marketplace. I was worried about buying a used CNC, but I found this really nice gentleman not too far away that was getting rid of his, and I jumped right on it. At any rate, we'll get back to this discussion in a bit, but once I had the wasteboard done, I started unboxing and setting up the wall mount. Now, one of the main reasons why I wanted a Onefinity wasn't just because of its good name, but also the fact that I could mount this thing vertically on the wall. Like many others, I'm not blessed with a big workshop, and I have to make things work within the confined space that I have. Now, you see me swapping out some bolts, and that's because Onefinity provides you with stronger bolts that allow the CNC to be mounted on the wall. The installation could not be simpler. Following the instructions, you simply add this bar on the bottom and the wall mount bushings on the top. Now to get this on the wall, you measure 6 feet from the floor for the Woodworker series and mark a point on the stud. Once you have that marked, you'll find the next point 32 inches away, ensuring that it's also on a stud. Now most studs are 16-inch on center, so this wasn't hard, but remember, the wall mount must be fastened into wood studs. Don't even think about doing this without wall studs. If your studs aren't 16-inch on center, you could try to put the bushing on the outside, but please contact Onefinity before attempting this. This is not something you want to wing. This thing is heavy. You saw me hang from the wall mounts, and that was my rudimentary method of testing. And with that complete, I started mounting the CNC on the wasteboard. And there are plenty of videos on YouTube that show how this can be done, and I'll link a few in the video description below. Now for the golden question. What will I use the CNC for? And will I get the same satisfaction from building something with a CNC? Well, this is why I held back on making this video. I have made at least 20 to 30 projects on the CNC in the past 2 months, and I think I have a good answer. But before I tell you, when it's time to mount the CNC on the wall, call a friend. Don't try to do this alone. This is Rignam, my friend, my neighbor, and I promised him that I would stop stealing wood from his garage if he helped me. Where do you think I got the MDF for the wasteboard? And Rignam, if you're watching, sorry. Once we had the CNC mounted, I held up the X-rail, which Rignam installed with the bolts. And with that complete, I mounted the router and the CNC was ready to use. I couldn't wait. And of course, the first thing I wanted to make was my logo. This would be so much harder without the CNC. Doable? Yes, of course, but time consuming. And I think that's a part of the answer to the golden question. Now I purchased Vectric VCarve Pro software, and it's not cheap. It cost me nearly $1,000 Canadian just for the software, but I think this investment is going to take my woodworking to the next level. I also purchased some CNC bits from IDC Woodcraft. Honestly, I've been following this channel for the last couple of months, and believe me, it's absolutely worth it. I'll leave a link to the channel and the CNC bits in the video description below, and if you have any interest in CNC, I highly encourage you check them out. You can't tell me this isn't cool. I can't wait to incorporate this in my woodworking projects. And if you like this content, I hope you'll subscribe and join me in this journey as we learn the CNC together. Oh, welcome back, guys. Couple of additional things before we end this video is to talk about these OOPS clamps. As I mentioned in the video, these came free with the wasteboard, and they're phenomenal to ensure the workpiece doesn't move while the CNC does its thing. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that this particular board has T-tracks and it is a secure from above wasteboard. They also have one that's secure from beneath. I just think that since it's mounted on the wall, it'll be easier for me to remove the screws and replace one or many of these boards if for some reason I need to replace them. And that would be easier than going beneath and going behind the board. One thing that I did not show in the video is that I built a couple of these different 3D printed parts that go on the router as well as the CNC that allow for this hose to kind of stay put while the CNC is running without it getting in its way. And I clamped it up onto the ceiling so that it doesn't get in the way at all with the CNC. Now, as far as the logo is concerned, it's done. I painted it black, sanded it down, and then put a little lacquer on it. I think it looks fantastic. While you guys are here with me, I think it goes without saying that it belongs in the shop, and we're going to put it up on the wall. So we'll put that up. And I think it looks fantastic. Thanks again for joining. Make sure to like, subscribe the video, and we'll see you guys in the next one.